back, everyone. We have some breaking news just into our newsroom in the last few minutes. The Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office is currently investigating a deadly shooting. Trees like this coming down, of course, all those power outages. You can see it's knocking down this power line right here, this poles all the way down. Yeah. So be careful out there if you're out on the roadways. Again, if you're running into things like this, let us know so we can let our viewers know. Thank you to our viewer for tweeting that out. See this car coming through, the water filling up pretty quickly there, and this is what we're seeing with this storm as it makes its way through, and the water and the wind is kind of both contributing to these scenarios that we're seeing play out all around the capital city. With that flash flooding comes some critters. This again on Twitter. That's an alligator, y'all, in someone's neighborhood. This was out in New Iberia, which is a little bit farther away, but for those rural areas here in the capital city, I'm sure you've encountered snakes and alligators and things like that during flash flooding events. So be safe out there. We're going to be here throughout the day monitoring the storm. We'll be sure to bring you any new updates. Just stay safe out there. We're going to return you back to your normal programming. Good afternoon, everyone. We're breaking in with some severe weather. We have an update for you. Meteorologist Kevin Smith's been keeping an eye on the weather for us all morning long. Right now, fortunately, we are not under any type of severe weather warnings, but we are dealing with a flash flood warning. The heavy rain, of course, accumulating on the roadways, making it difficult for some drivers. We have breaking news this morning. One person is dead after an early morning house fire in Scotlandville. We are taking a live look right now at the scene as the crew continues to work to determine what exactly caused this fire at a home in the 600 block of Elmore Avenue. We may have dodged much of that severe weather here, but up in North Louisiana, it's a different story this afternoon. At least 2 people were killed in a reported tornado in Ruston. Now for the very latest here in South Louisiana, we're going to turn things over to meteorologist Kevin Smith. Kevin? And they talked a lot again about his character with Do Things the Toddy Way. Chief Murphy Paul addressing that in the very beginning of this service, and just always having a kind heart and being ready to step up for anyone in need. And one of those robberies was caught on camera. We do want to warn you that this video is pretty graphic and viewers might find it a little disturbing. You can see the victim here and this group of men attacking him. They're kicking him, punching him, stomping on him. Police say this group has targeted people who were intoxicated, alone, or otherwise distracted. There's more Saints drama this morning after Buffalo Wild Wings posted a shady tweet aimed at the Who Dat Nation. And as you can see, folks on Twitter not very happy about it. This tweet says, "This tweet is as bad as your customer service." So lots of people have some harsh feelings about this. NBC Local 33's Jonah Gilmore got both sides of that Twitter war. News this morning, some pretty extraordinary video. A house explosion in Texas was caught on camera by a police dash cam. Take a look at this video behind us. It shows the explosion after a vehicle crashed into a home. We have continuing coverage this morning into that tragic fatal house fire Wednesday morning. Officials have confirmed that one man is dead. I-10 corridor from Houston all the way to New Orleans, and we're told this is the worst human trafficking area in the United States. In your Local 33 crime tracker, we're learning new information this morning in that deadly hit and run we first told you about over the weekend. A man state police believe is responsible for that deadly crash is now behind bars. In Kenner, a man is behind bars this morning after trying to kidnap 2 children from a local Walmart while armed with a machete. A giraffe on the loose, everybody. A giraffe escaped its enclosure and went on a little adventure at the Fort Wayne Children's Zoo. Take a look at this video. The gentle giant out of her barn. And new this morning, Baton Rouge fire investigators are investigating an overnight house fire, and they believe it was set intentionally. Now we're told that the shooting happened around 4:40 this morning in the 1100 block of Christie Drive. Now what led to this shooting is still unclear at this time, but we do know that one person is dead. We do have a crew heading to the scene right now, and we'll be sure to bring you the latest information as it becomes available. What's the reaction that you've been getting since y'all have been out in the community more, engaging with the community? Are you seeing some more hellos as you're out working? You know, what is that relationship really looking like now?
Well, we see a lot. You know, everywhere I go, I get so many compliments.
Streets are already filled down here in New Orleans. I'm actually joined with a friend of mine this morning, Mr. Benny Mitchell. Good morning to you.
Good morning. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Fine.
So we've got the grill fired up already this morning. Let's have a sneak peek of what we got. We are kicking off this morning with some breakfast.
Yeah.
Great way to start the day. We've got Chef Jada Cody joining us. Good morning to you. What was their attitude like at practice despite all of those things leading up into today's game? And I'm going to be going up in one of these later this morning. I got to get myself prepared. We're going to send it back to you guys in the studio. Hit it, my friend. Woo! We are live out here in Ascension Parish. Some may find it hard to believe that Community Coffee has been brewing fresh local coffee here in South Louisiana for nearly a century. Well, one woman has had a front row seat to the entire show. In this week's Louisiana Women, we're going to introduce you to Donna Siraj. She's the woman who has lived and breathed community for almost 6 decades.
There's something special about a hot, fresh cup of coffee.
Okay, well here, I'll pour you one. I'll pour you a fresh cup.
Soothing and familiar.
Yum.
A feeling many people get when sipping community coffee.
I cannot imagine my life without community coffee.
Donna Siraj, manager of CCC Holding, joined Community Coffee back in 1957.
I married into this company 62 years ago.
Little did she know this small family business would be a staple in homes across Louisiana 100 years later.
We didn't drink that much coffee, and I learned to drink coffee and learned to love the product and love the business.
Even though she wasn't running the company, she played a big role in shaping it to what we know today.
But I think I validated many of his decisions, and he made a lot of good ones, and I like to think that maybe I was a part of that.
She poured that same sense of family into the community.
But I had the time to really give back to the community by volunteering. Remember when I first started serving on boards, I was maybe the only woman on the board.
As society evolved, so did her mindset on business.
But I found that as more women came on boards, in making the decisions, we became more and more valued. It wasn't that way 50 years ago, and it's exciting to see the way that's changed.
Now in 2019, Siraj says there are no limits for women. In fact, she was named this year's most influential woman in business.
I had never once thought about even being considered for it, and that's the honest truth. And it was such a joy to stand up there with 9 incredible women and to think that I'm one of them.
But no matter how much has changed over the last century, one thing has always remained the same.
To keep this flavor, the one that you expect in the morning when you make that cup of coffee, the beans may taste different this year than they did last year, and yet we maintain this same flavor. And I think it's the same thing with the business. New ideas come in, but we maintain the same values, just like we maintain the same flavor.
A flavor she hopes will be brewing for many years to come.